Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Guild Wars Week 33, Day 3. It is a purple day, but today we are not starting with the Gems of War Guild Wars, as many of you can see, who are watching live. We are an hour and a half late. That's not because I was an hour and a half late, but that was because of the Gems of War Q&A stream. They were just running it, so right now we are going to basically summarize everything that they said during that stream, and this time I did get a full summary of absolutely everything, though many of their answers were pretty vague, so if you were expecting answers to some of these things, they didn't really give a definitive answer to many of these questions, but they gave the answer to a bunch of community-based questions. I think there was about 15 of them. They ended up giving some spoilers to stuff that's going to be happening next year, and all that kind of stuff. So basically just going to start going down and summarizing all of that before we get into the Guild Wars today. So first off, indicator for dungeons is likely to come. Of course, right now, if you go into dungeons, there's no way of knowing. Like right now, we have no way of knowing that we have not yet done all of our dungeon battles. They will almost guarantee be adding a notification button for this. They did end up particularly mentioning, though, that they don't want to overload the game with notification buttons everywhere, but that is something that they are considering. Also, I will be going in order of chronological order of when they said it during the stream, so my order in which I say these things may be completely sporadic and random. Next up, they are looking to do a new kind of special events. They're also looking to do it more so on a weekly basis. Of course, we already have weekly events now, but things more like how the MOA event was, where it's something particularly interesting that's going on in a given week that isn't simply just a few stats moving around or go kill this for some stones. Something more in-depth than that. They are planning on bringing that, maybe not on a weekly basis, but they did say possibly on a weekly basis. So we'll see what happens with that. They did say that they're going to be bringing the holiday skulls back. For any of you that don't know, they used to run different assets in skulls that they used to always change. This was more towards before they went to the Unity version, but they have basically, I don't think they've done it a single time since they switched over to Unity version, but they did say that they are looking into bringing those back for next year's. Crafting resources will not be added to Treasure Hunt. Of course, many people, or some people have been asking to get it to the Treasure Hunt, so that Treasure Hunt it becomes more viable. They did mention that they are not going to be doing that, though they did also mention that they might be bringing in an entire new minigame that you can use to farm those resources. Also, they did mention that they might be bringing in new resources of different various kinds as well. Let's see, craft. I already read that. Maybe a mini. I already just read that. I'm reading already ahead without even reading it. Let's see. Mythic notification. Notifications in chat. Oh yeah, the notifications for Mythics will be cut back. For any of you that know, like for example, tomorrow morning, you're going to get completely blue-walled with a bunch of chat messages showing people getting Mythics and stuff like that. They did mention that they are likely going to look into a way to cut this back a little bit, so particularly when new Mythics come out, because if any of you are on tomorrow morning when the thing comes out, new Mythic's coming out, I believe like 5-6 hours from now, the one Christmas Mythic thing, but you know, or anyone who's ever around when that happens, you just get completely spammed with notifications, and you can't even use the chat at all for like 8 hours to almost the entire day. The chat is just completely clogged with these blue little message things. So they are going to be doing something that will negate that some. I don't think it's going to be a full disable for the notification, but they are looking into some kind of change that will address that issue. Also, hello, William. Hello, Marcelo. Hello, Maximuse. Didn't even say the hellos. Okay, let's keep going. What do we have next? We'll likely add a way to see troops as you pick an arena when you do the arena rework. Oh yeah, they're going to be doing a whole arena rework. They didn't specifically mention what they might be doing with that. They mentioned some things with Dawnbringer as well, which I'll get to once we get down to that. They kind of avoided the question for the most part. But yes, they will be reworking Arena in the future, and hopefully will allow us to be able to see the troops when you pick them. At this current moment of time, though, of course, if we go into Arena, if we go in here, the biggest thing that was being asked here is, could we be able to see it so we can actually see what the colors are? Because like right now, we have no way of knowing what we picked. So let's say we picked Dwarven Gate, but now I have no way of knowing what I just picked. So let's say I accidentally pick another blue. Well, whoops, now I just picked another blue, and I didn't just see I picked a brown. Whoops, now I have 2 browns and I have 2 blues, and you basically just have to go and repick now because you can't see what you have already drafted. That will likely be changed so that you can. This used to be possible in the past, but since they switched over to Unity, it has become impossible to do so. But yeah, they will be looking into that. Next thing. Maybe a timer on the home kingdom for tributes. It is low on their priority, but they were considering adding a timer for tributes. And if they were, it would be added to the home kingdom. So basically, if you go into your hero menu screen, you click over to kingdom, there might be a timer here saying next tribute in XXX time. Their biggest concern with this is, well, for one, for adding too many notifications into the game, but the other big concern is it might be too server intensive because the game has to keep checking to modify that timer, though they already have a billion other timers in the game. So maybe they could just remove some of those and add this one instead, because I know a tribute timer is pretty high priority because everyone would need a tribute timer, whereas some other timers isn't really as necessary as they could be. I think actually the only other thing that has timers is chess. Did they remove those too, though? I know chess used to always have timers. You know what? I think they removed the chess timers. They're removing all the timers from the game. The only thing that really has a timer now, I believe, is the events. Yeah, some of the events, or mostly little event things, show a little timer on it, or at least the first one. And I think Hero is the only other one as well for when you can change your class. I'm pretty sure there's a few other ones. I think maybe the Guild Wars as well has one in it. But there are a few timers in the game, so adding one more, they might consider it for the tributes. Next up, what is the next one? What do we have here? We'll likely add... no, I already read that. Dawnbringer in Arena. They will be addressing this, though they have not the slightest clue how they're planning on addressing it. They basically dodged this question. One thing that was actually suggested in chat that they seemed somewhat possible that as what they're going to do is they're planning on maybe just removing Dawnbringer from Arena from now, just until they can get things situated. Not sure if that's specifically what they're going to do. Another one that was floated is instead of even having your hero in Arena, they might just make it an epic troop instead, so that you just draft an epic. The other possibility that they might do is letting you pick any weapon, but only allowing you to pick a weapon up to epic, and any rarity higher than that you would not be able to pick. So they don't really know what to do about the whole Dawnbringer issue in Arena. For any of you that don't know, the biggest issue with Arena right now is it is really hard to do in late game if you don't have Dawnbringer. It's basically a requirement now if you're above like level 500 to have a Dawnbringer if you want to partake in, oops, I keep forgetting it's not there anymore, if you want to partake in Arena, because everyone who has a Dawnbringer is just going to be excessively stronger than you. They also said that they're likely not going to be adding any more mythic weapons into the game or the Soulforge until they get the whole Dawnbringer situation situated, so they want to make sure that's unlocked before they add a second problem via a weapon. Likely not going to be able to specifically target lower rarities. They did mention that there's going to probably be new events and stuff in the future that might be able to help some with getting lower rarity troops. But, for example, what was specifically asked, of course, was will they allow these things to be targetable? If you go to Soulforge and you go over to these are not really targetable. They're basically just a random drop between these 8. You can't specifically pick a certain one that you want. They did mention that they may allow this in the future, but it would obviously cost quite a bit more, and they would need to figure out how to balance it when they do end up doing that. But, yeah, it's not really that high on their priority list, unfortunately. So that is likely going to remain as is, as it currently stands with the 1 out of 8 random chance. Though for newer players, at its current cost, it's actually pretty decent. The biggest issue that arises with it is it's horrible for late game players. Let's see. Next one. Oh, PC keyboard casting. I ended up asking them, and Surian seems particularly eager about it for whatever reason. But yeah, PC keyboard casting. So, for example, currently, I can't really show it because I don't have a controller on me right now, but currently, if you plug in a controller on the PC version, you can basically hotkey your cast abilities, but for whatever reason you can't do this with a keyboard. So the suggestion was basically allow us to have hotkeys to be able to quickly like cast things and other stuff that you would normally be able to already do with controller controls that exist in the game already. And yes, he did mention that, so we might be able to eventually cast with QWER or whatever we bind it to, and stuff like that with our abilities. So that would make it a lot easier to navigate. Would also make the game a lot less click intensive, since you can now actually use your hand, your other hand, because at the moment, there is no hotkey that works on PC other than escape. That is the only button that does anything, and the only thing it does is bring up this menu, and I think it goes out of some menus. So for example, for here, that's the escape right there, escape, and then it brings us back to the main menu thing. But yeah, that's the only hotkey in the entirety of PC mobile, I mean on PC right now. So yeah, he did say that they will likely be doing that. It probably won't make it into next version, but they are almost guaranteed going to be adding that into the near future. Let's see. Hero will be reworked. Oh yeah, I ended up asking that too, though, through the other question. But yes, they did mention, they did kind of dodge the question slightly. They only partially answered it. They did say that they're going to be reworking Hero to make it more viable, though they did not address the leveling system nor the Hero Mastery system at all. They didn't make a single word of it, but they did say that they are going to be rebalancing Hero. They mentioned quite a few things about it as far as making all of the older weapons viable. They said that they're probably going to do an entire patch just directly related to the Hero class in general. So that's definitely going to be happening. Probably no clue when, but pretty much an entire class or entire patch will be focused on targeting and making Hero viable again, make Hero great again. He also said that they're likely going to give all 3 perks. Of course, if we go over to a Hero and we go over to class and go over to perks, currently there's 3. You can only choose 1. He did end up mentioning that it might be slightly harder to obtain these, but you'd basically be able to have all 3 once they are unlocked. They also said that they might be slightly increasing the amount of wins that you would need to get each of the weapons as well as buffing them to make them slightly better to balance that out. Or basically, they're going to make them slightly better, and they're going to make it slightly harder to get to balance it out. Is essentially some of the things that they're going to be doing. And some of the old monocolor weapons, they're likely going to make dual color weapons, because a lot of them were added when no dual color weapons existed in the game. And as far as the 50 gem repick, they are in the future going to completely wipe that from the game. I don't think they're doing anything for it short term, but he mentioned that because of the Unity version, it's a lot easier for them to set up a system where you can actually set your hero per team. So in the future, you're pretty much just going to be able to set a hero class per team that you have. So that would completely negate the 50 gem cost of switching classes. So that would be amazing. Kingdom updates to Home Kingdom are coming. Yeah, there's a lot of updates apparently coming to Home Kingdoms, though they were pretty vague on what any of them are coming, or what any of them are going to be. Next, Soulforge updates and Mythic. They want to get the Dawnbringer completely situated before they do that, but it's likely going to be coming in 1/4 the way into 2018, so likely around March at some time, approximately, will be the next time when Soulforge will be updated. So with that being said, if you are a late game player, by basically mid-March, you would want to have 1.3 million souls. So, yes, we basically have that information now. So yeah, by mid-March, get yourself 1.3 million souls if you're super late game. Otherwise, just get yourself a Dawnbringer for now and work towards that with your excess souls. But yeah, so that will be our goal. I think we should be able to make it, I would assume. We're gaining, like, actually, I don't even know how many souls we're gaining these days. But yeah, for any of you that have been wondering, that is when you would need it by for the new Mythic weapon and whatever else they might change. They didn't specifically say what else they might be doing. It seems like they have several things that aren't just a new Mythic and a new weapon. Seems like they're going to be making some other modifications as well. Particle effects. This was a pretty big one. How Unity works with particle effects, they said it won't really necessarily be an easy fix. They are likely going to be adding small changes over a long period of time to particle effects, but it isn't something that's just going to be completely changed over one patch. There might eventually be a slight toggle option, but it won't be fully functional immediately if they do implement it. It'll only be some things gradually over time until they fully get it fleshed out. 3.3 coming early 2018, so much so I think they said late January? I actually completely forgot now. I think I might have mentioned it slightly lower in here. But yeah, coming early 2018. I know they specifically mentioned the date. I forget if I wrote it down though. But yeah, very early next year, 3.3 should be coming. Status effect changes coming in 3.3 as well, which is next patch, where they're basically going to be visually changing some of them. Right now, Burning and Fairy Fire look exactly the same, and a couple of the other ones like Freeze and other stuff are really hard for them to be able to see. Hello, Anthony. What did you miss? We're going over all of the stuff that was in the Q&A right now, summarizing it. So just go back in the video if you have missed anything. Let's see, Guild War progress for all guilds is likely to be implemented. So what was asked is, can we get some kind of progress bar for, where to go? If we go into guild and we go into Guild Wars, at this current moment in time, there's no way to see how many battles every single guild has. So for example, we can see right here, Solophobia, they have about 20,000 more points than us. But what we don't know is how many battles have they done relative to us. There's no way of knowing that. The only thing that even remotely shows that at the moment is this, and it doesn't show it through the entire week. It only shows it through the certain day, and it only shows it against the current guild that you're up against on the current day. The suggestion, and likely what they're going to be implementing sometime into the future, is a way on this screen to be able to see the guilds around you and see how much progress they have. So I forget how many battles there are in a given week per guild, but let's just say that this guild has like 100 battles out of 100, and this guild has like 90 battles out of 100. Well, you could see, well, this guild now has the potential of maybe closing that gap against this other guild, and you'd be able to gauge what your score is better relative to other guilds. Because just because, for example, Martha's Guardian is #1 right now, that could just be because they have all of their battles done, whereas, for example, Tough Unrepentant here could be actually #1, but they just haven't done most of their battles yet, and it's really hard to currently tell that, and they will be adding some kind of thing here. It might be one of these little question mark icons or some kind of other implementation, but they are going to be doing something addressing that. Anyways, on to the next one. Get that Word document back out. Board opaqueness. They did mention board opaqueness. They didn't really give too definitive of an answer there. But yeah, for any of you that don't know, the way that the board looks is way more opaque now. The opacity of it is a lot more see-through than what it was before. It's technically the exact same board that it was before, but with how it is functioning on Unity, it looks more transparent. But yeah, he wasn't really certain on what they were going to do with it, or if they might make it so it's more less opaque normally, but more opaque when you do a move. Like right there, it'd become less opaque and then become more opaque again. Not really certain on what their plans will be for that, but they are aware of the issue. They're just not certain on how they're going to be addressing it. Also, let me kill this battle while we're already here. Let's go get that Infernus in there. Our first battle of the stream. Boom, dead. Actually, we still have it on Warlord 4, don't we? From when I was doing Farish Raw earlier. And down it goes. Oops, wait, that wasn't enough to kill? What are you doing? Go down. There we go. Okay, anyways, on to the other answers and questions and stuff and summarizations. Next update. Let's see. Next update, the team refresh button will have a fade. Oh, yes. So in PvP right now, if you finish out a battle, you will have a continue, or not when you finish out a battle, but if you have like defend battles or something, it'll bring up a reward screen and then we'll say continue. That continue button is right over top this button. So if you click the continue and click real quick again, it will waste 1 gem, which is obviously very annoying. They will be adding a fade in for this button, so it'll take a couple seconds before it appears to make it so that it would be impossible to accidentally double click on the continue and waste your 1 gem. So yes, they are aware of that. They will be fixing that. They won't be moving the buttons, but they'll just be adding a fade in that will solve the issue of accidentally double clicking. And for now, just click over to the side and you won't really ever double click on accident. I still haven't done that yet, but I know a lot of people have been. Next update, the team refresh button. I just read the exact thing already. They will likely add a way to move through screens quicker. This was mainly mentioned for console, though I assume they would apply it to PC and mobile as well. Because PC also has this issue where you move through screens very slow. Like what I'm doing right now is basically, to my knowledge, like the quickest way you can even move through this screen, which is very annoying to do. Yeah, so they're going to be doing some kind of change to make it quicker to navigate through these, particularly with console in mind, though likely across all of the platforms. Because this is really, really slow. I think on mobile you can do it pretty quick because you can just swipe your finger like that and then boom, it goes from one side to the other. But I know on console it's very slow, and on PC it is also very slow to navigate. Particularly as they keep adding more and more and more and more troops over and over again. It just makes it even longer to go from top to bottom. Okay, anyways, what is the next one we have here? Changes. Daily tasks for PC and mobile will eventually be coming, but they want to make sure they completely rework it on console before they bring it over to PC and mobile. They want to make sure it's completely refined on the console before taking it over. For now, it's kind of just the little bit of extra treat that consoles get since they don't have the codes. So, yeah, it's likely going to be adding short-term repeatable tasks as well as long-term tasks for people that play the game quite a lot. I don't currently know much about the task system as it currently stands, but yeah, that's basically the changes. They also said they're likely going to add more early game stuff. So let's say like stuff that's more like tutorial tips that give small little rewards for newer players to kind of assist them and tell them to do certain things while also rewarding them for doing so. So they will be completely overhauling and reworking the task system before they bring it over to PC Mobile. Also, one random thing, this isn't really that important, but Core Vash is on a very special mana core. They did end up clearing that up because there's always wondering on what on earth Core Vash is under. But yes, that is a mana core underneath him. Some kind of really weird mana core. So for any of you that have been wondering, that's that. What other things? Soulforge Color Troops drops may be targetable. Oh, I already said this earlier. But yeah, the Soulforge things, these might eventually be targetable. It's not really that high of a priority for them, but they need to figure out how to economically balance it if they were to make these specifically targetable. What other things do we have? We're almost to the bottom of the list. Then we can go do the Guild Wars. Soulforge Color Troop, I just read that. Bright Forest is coming early in mid-January. Early to mid-January. Oh yeah, so it was the patch. Next patch is coming, I believe, mid-February. Somewhere around there. But the Bright Forest, the new kingdom, is coming early to mid-January. They still don't have a definitive date, but yes. That will be coming very, very soon. And the main feature that that's going to be bringing is the fire, the soul fire, the... Wait, what was it called? I actually forget what it's called now. But that one fire thing that makes you do 50% more cast damage. We went over it before. Currently, Dragonette's like the only realistic thing that can apply it. But that entire kingdom's going to be composed of it. And it's going to change how casting teams work quite a bit initially. Next up, defense settings were removed because the AI used to do really dumb things. That was mentioned in the thing. For any of you that remember, there used to be a customizable AI thing that you could switch here. They ended up removing it because the way that people would modify these was making the AI do some really, really dumb things. So they just decided to completely remove it. They might eventually bring it back if they can find a way to implement it while still keeping the AI smart enough to function. But the way that they had it implemented earlier was just making the AI act way too weirdly. So they just decided to completely remove it for now. That was why we don't have that option anymore in the defense. Plus, barely anyone was even using it to begin with. Next up, which might be why the AI was acting so weird. Next up, 2018. Oh yeah, I already said this. 2018 February update for 3.3. Sometime in February, we should be getting the 3.3 update. They are planning on doing 6 updates next year. So that would be basically one update every 2 months. That is their plan. We'll see how that goes, though. I can almost guarantee you that won't happen. I'll be surprised if they do 5. But yeah, that is their plan. But hopefully, yes, that'd be amazing if they could actually do 6 updates. Not sure how many kingdoms are coming. One other thing they mentioned is the middle of next year. There will be a map rework of some kind. They said it's related to Dungeons & Dragons in some way. So maybe layers of the map. I'm not quite sure exactly what they meant by that. But yes, the map rework, their entirety of this map will be filled by basically summer next year. So by then they need to figure out some kind of solution. And apparently they already have that in the works. But yeah, some kind of map solution will be occurring. Since there's only 2 more spots, I believe, or 3. Maybe 3. They'll probably find a way to fit another one in there. But there's only right there and right over there. Those are basically the only 2 spots, unless they shove another one randomly, where they can add another kingdom. And we already know one's coming in January. So, yeah, they need to figure out something fast. Let's see, what other things do we have here? Adding more interesting events into the game that I kind of already mentioned, but they are planning on adding more interesting events. Currently, of course, events are pretty much the same every single week, but they are looking to make them completely unique and special every single time. Kind of like how the MOA thing was, except a little bit more interactive than how the MOA event was, most likely. Let's see. They want to make events more fun and rewarding. They also want to add some kind of really valuable item to the game that might come from these events in some way. This technically already exists in a way, though the way that they're implemented is a little bit weird. It's all of the old event weapons, so let's say like the Boom Boom, the Bull Roar, the Flail Chain, stuff like this. These are all Crimson Insignial, these kind of things, Crescendo. These are all really old event weapons that are kind of considered special weapons because they aren't really obtainable by many means within the game. They did mention that these things might not even be troops or weapons in general. They might be some kind of new resource, maybe something wearable for your hero when they do a hero update. I'm not quite sure. But they will be adding something kind of similar to basically what these old event weapons used to be, where even though these things are not necessarily a high rarity, these are basically all mythic in how rare they are. because not too many people have them. Some of them aren't really even obtainable anymore because they've never added them to the shop, or if they did it very, very rarely. So a lot of these really old event weapons are some of the rarest things in the game, because a lot of people, unless they were specifically around when the game first launched or soon after, do not have many of these really, really old weapons that were only ever available once or only a few times throughout the game's history. So it almost seems like they'll be adding kind of special gear like that, possibly. So we'll see exactly how that pans out. I don't know how I exactly feel about that, because well, I do have all of it. That would be a little bit weird if you have something that's only exclusive for a little while and then you don't end up getting it. That would be quite unfortunate, especially if there's not another means of obtaining it. And I think that's everything. Oh, and they're planning on a lot of changes to kingdoms, apparently. They were really, really vague on it, but they said it was things that we will not be expecting. So, not quite sure. Not sure what to expect, because they said we would expect it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from the Q&A. I probably said that in the weirdest way possible, but that's the best summary I can do based on everything that they gave as far as answers. So, yeah, that's basically it. Looks like a lot of nice stuff. Looks like a lot of kingdom and hero-oriented changes as well. Some more UI changes coming. And 6 updates next year. That is a lot to look forward to. I don't think they've ever done 6 updates in a year. If I'm not mistaken, 5 is currently the highest they've ever done. I've never actually kept track, though. But yeah, I believe 4 or 5 is the highest they've ever done in 1 year. So 6 is quite ambitious. Anyways, let's go into the actual thing that the stream is meant for. Let's go into Guild Wars already and do Guild Wars. So today is a purple day. Let's go into that since, yeah, okay. Starting purple day, 26 minutes into the stream, but I did want to go over that first. Anyways, let's get into things. Dragon Soul, Element Grim, Infernus, Umberwolf, go. Let's destroy them all. And then we'll go do our dungeons and all that. And let me go answer all the questions, because I was kind of going on a huge rant there. Hello, Questor. Hello, Tobad. Any chance a new best team with common through ultra rare troops video coming soon? It's not planned on coming soon, but I could definitely look into doing one in the future. Normally I do that slightly over time, like throughout videos instead of compiling it all in one video. But yeah, I could definitely do one where we kind of compile it all. It was kind of like the whole thing with Farish Raw that we did earlier this morning, where we've of course gone over soul farming teams and Farish Raw teams before, but I've never really gone over or I went over it again specifically for when the Farish Raw came out this morning. Okay, let me go move that. We're actually in a little bit of a bad situation here. Let me go get our Dragon Soul. Go get that exploded. You need to pay attention to the board more. Get yourself that nice Dragon Soul down. Nice. Get that right back to full mana. Get herself another Dragon Soul, and I think that's matched. Got our Element Grim going, got our extra turn, and that is a lot of mana, and we got everything we need. Just Umberwolf into a loop into the wind. And how many purples was that? Yeah, we'll go for that right there. And then just keep Umberwolfing until the win. Looks quite fine. He'll just take a skull. Ooh. What do I do here? That could be a concern. I think I Dragon Soul and hope the board is good, or we get an extra turn. There we go, perfect. And now we can just Infernus and that's match. Well, that was a little bit of a save. That could have actually gone really bad if we would have gotten that Umberwolf going. He would have been able to loop it just as good as we can loop against him, and we would have lost a lot of points. The dev said nothing on how long Farish Raw will stay in the Forge. Oh, they mentioned it on the forum. They didn't mention it during the stream. The Farish Raw that is currently craftable. Also, I didn't even mention that during the stream. Yeah, if any of you haven't gotten it yet, definitely make sure to go and check the Soul Forge. Go get yourself a Farish Raw. It is craftable right now and will be, I believe, till Wednesday. They didn't give a definitive day, I don't believe, but they said for about a week, and they handed that out on Thursday. So possibly all the way till the end of Wednesday, I would assume. But yeah, definitely get yourself a Farish Raw. It is the most valuable thing you can ever craft out of diamonds. Great, the best soul farmer in the game. Also a really solid single target troop that can get up to single target damage with basically just a single cast of a Valkyrie or a Dragon Soul. Very nice utility to have. Best thing you could possibly craft, so definitely get yourself one if you have the resources to be able to do so. He does require being fully traded, but you might as well get him now while you can, and then just worry about trading him later if you don't have the trade stones. He takes 21 blue-purple and 21 brown-purple. You can get that from Glacial Peaks for the blue-purple and Darkstone for the brown-purple if you still need to farm up those trade stones. But yeah, definitely go get yourself one. And we did a whole video going over it earlier if you need any teams or anything for it. Back to Guild Wars. Where to go? Where to go? Battle number 2. What do we have? What's with all the Gorgolfas? With the... Wait, isn't this the same team we were just up against? Gorgolfa, Knight Coronet, Mercy, Eldamagrim. I've never seen it before, but apparently this whole guild is running it, or at least the first 2 people are, which makes me assume that almost the whole guild is, because if we're fighting this common at a lower end of the guild, we're probably going to see it throughout the entire guild, because there's so many more people that are within the smaller area compared to the higher area. But let's go, and I could take a weird move of a blue into a yellow into a skull. The only problem with that is that gives him a red right there, I think. So I kind of want that red for myself. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just move that down and do that instead. There we go. Okay, so move that as well. Need to get this last little bit of mana for him. Red Surge would be the most ideal thing, or Purple Surge, either or. Though neither of them appear to be obtainable at the moment, so I guess we'll just move her around, get some of her mana. He leaves the purple there, which is nice, so we can just take that, throw down a Dragon Soul, and just get everything rolling, and go from there. So we'll get that, get all of our mana. Very lucky extra turn there for the burn and everything. And now we can just start going crazy. You know what? My Yellow Day team is doing really bad so far today. I think what I'm going to do is make a Mercy team with triple immune to burn. I think that would actually win, because so many people are running almost exactly what I'm running right now for this day. Different variants of what we're running. But a lot of it's really dependent if they have an Eldamagrim on burning the enemy, particularly this late in the game. So it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to actually do a pure, or almost pure, because a Mercy wouldn't have it, but an almost pure immune to burn team. Because right now, my team is doing really bad. It is 0-19. 0-19. We won 3-10, 3-12, 0. So yeah, that needs to be reworked. Actually, this week is a really good week for me to be able to see what I need to change and not change as far as defense are concerned. I know the Mercy is right. It's just the other 3 are not. But technically I did that. I have 1 immune to burn, though I need the other 2 to also have it. Anyways, let's get back to the Guild Wars. Also, I should probably put in last line Impervious on that, just in case they run Kraken. Because it is possible to run a Kraken on a purple day, too. It's not like everyone's running this team, though most people probably are this late in the game for Guild Wars, or very similar things. Let me go back to chat, because I still missed, like, so many things from earlier that was mentioned. So what was it they said about Dawnbringer in the arena? They gave the most vaguest answer ever about Dawnbringer in the arena. The couple of the suggestions, or some of the things that they said they might do, is 1, just completely remove it from arena until they figure out what on earth to do with it. 2 could be to remove hero, but make it an epic, kind of like what Epic Arena used to be, except with no hero and just an epic troop instead. It was an event that some of you may remember if you were playing like 2 years ago, that they did, I think, once or twice. It was very, very rare, but essentially it was... you used your hero with a common, or your hero with a rare, an ultra rare, and an epic. Essentially what it would be is no hero, but you would use a common, a rare, an ultra rare, and an epic. So that was one of their other solutions, so that would be a pretty drastic change to how Arena currently works. And another one was they would just ban all legendary and mythic weapons from Arena, and you would only be able to use epic weapons or lower. And one other solution, I forget if I already just mentioned it, but they might just completely make it so you can't use Dawnbringer on defend. So for example, if someone is using a Dawnbringer, you can still use Dawnbringer within it, but if someone else is using a Dawnbringer, they would make it into a different weapon. But yeah, some of those are short-term options, some of those are long-term options. What they're doing, they have not the slightest clue. But yeah, they give no definitive answer on what on earth is happening with that. Let's see, what other things were mentioned? Oh yeah, Fairy Fire. Thank you, Bridget, from when I was saying that earlier. Oh yeah, no problem, Kyle. The dev said anything about how... Oh, never mind, I already answered that. Sorry for not answering earlier, though. Let's see. Your shirt, 1 Celestial Tradestone. I hope you have more Celestials on Monday, so you'll probably buy one. Oh, you could also just buy one in the Soulforge if you have the resources for it. They cost 100 of each of the little color things, so that's pretty cheap. It's one of the few things in the Soulforge that actually isn't that badly priced, mainly because those color things don't really have that big of a use. But yeah, a 100 of each of those little color shards will get you a Celestial Tradestone, which a lot of people have a lot of spears of, so If you haven't already done that, you could probably just do it that way. If you just need a last-minute Celestial Tradestone to craft a Farish Raw or whatever else you need it for. Let's see. When is the best time to open event keys? Event keys are best to open whenever there's actually something good. Oh no, we died on one. But event keys are opened whenever it is a good week to open event keys. They did mention that they might be, at some point in the future, adding a way similar to how you can see those little color gem things in the Soulforge now, have some kind of like little eye icon or question mark icon that shows what all of the available drops are. They will likely be doing this whenever they get around to completely reworking the event key drop pool. When they will be doing that, I do not know. But when they do... Oh, come on, you just killed two. But when they do end up doing that, they are likely going to be basically allowing all rarities to be within the event key drop pool, but making it specifically Kingdom exclusive. They also mentioned that they might be lowering the price of them, maybe all the way down to even the gem key price to open up an event key. But it would also include commons and rares from that kingdom, so that you'd be able to get absolutely everything. But yes, to answer your question, when is the best time to open event keys? That is a really hard answer, or question to answer, mainly because it changes based on the week, and it's really hard as a newer player, or even some people just in general, to really know when it is a good week to use them. I go over it every Monday video, but you kind of just have to know what the week's event is and what's in the kingdom. So for example, this week is a Pride Land event. So we go to troops, we go over to Pride Lands. You can just go over here. Oops, that's not Pride Lands. We go over to that, go into Pride Lands, and then you click on show all, which would also show all your unowned, and then just click that. And then you look for all of them that are ultra rare and higher. And basically any of them that are ultra rare and higher will be in the event key drop pool for the week. So that would be Behemoth, Chimera, Claw Dancer, Finley, Rakshin, the Salamander, Sakima, Shadow Hunter, and Tuskar are everything that's in the event key drop pool, as well as a few other scraps that may appear on the ultra rares and epics. But all legends and all mythics will be from within this kingdom. This kingdom has no mythics though, so there's a 0% chance of getting a mythic. But your legend chance will be a Behemoth or a Sakima every single time you get a legend. This week would not be a good week to open up event keys. But of course that changes by the week. The best weeks to really do it based on the current system would be things like Dragon's Claw, so you can get a Dragon Soul, Kedar, so you can get Farish Raw, so you can also craft one right now. What other ones? Where is Silver Glade? Silver Glade, whenever you can get a Christine X. Basically, if the kingdom has a really good legend and or mythic, that's basically the time you may want to use some of your event keys on the kingdom. But yeah, it's a really weird resource to use, because you have to know what's currently in the drop pool. And if we go over to the event key drop pool, there's really no clear indication what on earth is in the event key. It's even less, it shows even less now, because before it used to at least show like the troops that would occasionally be in there on the side where they would come in. But now it's just, okay, what do we even get? I can't even barely tell what we get from this. We get a Claw Dancer, Celestial Tradestones, and other valuable items. What on earth does other valuable items even mean? I didn't even realize how unclear event keys look now. Wow, it is even worse than before. So yeah, they are going to be doing something to that eventually. Hopefully sooner than later, because that's actually even worse than I thought it was. I forgot how bad that screen looks now. But yeah, yeah, event keys are horrible. What's the new Mythic? The new Mythic is coming in like 5 or 6 hours. It's, we'll be going over all of that on Monday. I don't think I'll spoil it now. We already did billion times already. But, long story short is it double freezes, it double mana burns, it creates an endless blue storm, and it summons a Queen Mab. That's pretty much all you need to know. But yeah, we'll be going over that in extensive detail tomorrow morning in several hours from now. Let's see. Did I miss any other questions and all that? I think I got everything. But if I did miss one of your questions, please leave it again, and I will make sure to answer them. But yeah, if anyone still has anything, let me know. Also, hello, Pedro. Hello, Lowlight. Welcome. Oh, what? Oh, I just said what twice. What is the best team to open guild chests? When is the best time to open guild chests? Oh, just at the end of the week. There really isn't a particular time. I would say maybe when there is a mythic in the drop pool. So basically tomorrow, after the event switches over, there will be a new mythic within the drop pool, and that would be a decent time. Personally, I save all of mine for when they're going to be updating the drop pool for these. This, I have no clue when they're going to be doing. It's something that's been on the back burner for a while. It was originally said that it was going to be sometime around September this year. And of course now it's almost 2018 and it still has not occurred. So I'm not quite sure what's up with that. But yes, the other alternative that people tend to use these for is use them basically like glory or gem keys when you would do that. So basically if you have it at level 5 key, you would use it when you would go and get a new kingdom. The next kingdom is coming in mid next month, mid-January. So I'd probably say overall mid-January next month would be the best time to use it. Otherwise, you might use it whenever a Mythic comes in. So tomorrow is a new Mythic. If you're really interested in that Mythic, you could dump all of your keys then. Do make sure whenever you do use your guild keys, though, that you have the max chest possible, or at least the max chest that your guild normally does. So for example, my guild normally maxes out the chest all the way. And if we go to our chest right now, we are currently at not maxed. But we'd want to wait until that hits 40,000 before we start using it. For most guilds, you will only hit 20,000 or possibly even 10,000 from our casual guilds, but all of these still have the capability of dropping legends and mythics, though the further you go, the higher chance that they have of dropping legends and mythics. And a 20,000 seals for the entire guild is basically like a glory key, or half a glory key, because half the drops are... how guild keys works is half the drops are guild related troops, and the other half is whatever the rarity is showing. So for this one, it's basically half a glory key, and for this, it's basically half a gem key for every guild chest you use. The reason it's half is because the other half is always a guild troop, regardless of when you have it. Because even once you hit these 20,000 or 40,000, you will still constantly keep getting the common guild war troops. That just always happens until you have absolutely all of them, in which case they become completely like a key. Currently, I am at that point, so if I was to open up guild seals, my guild keys would essentially function the exact same way as gem keys. If I'm not mistaken, I have like 1,500 gem keys right now, because that's currently how they work. So we actually have a lot of gem keys just sitting there doing nothing, because I keep waiting until they finally rework it, and they haven't yet. And even by the time they do rework it, I'm probably going to have them all, so it's not even going to make a difference by that point. Let's see. But yeah, not all guilds actually reached 400,000 though. Oh, this was the thing I was mentioning before, by the way. They're going to add a fade to this so that you don't accidentally misclick. So if you click continue and then click again, you're going to waste 1 gem. But they're going to add a delay to that so you don't accidentally do that. Anyways, let me go finish out Guild Wars. I think we're not even halfway there yet. There we go. Actually, we're a little bit past halfway. We did a little bit bad on that third battle, but let's keep going with it. And if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to leave them, and we'll make sure to go over them all. They need to bring that back for event keys. Bring what back for event keys? But the thing that kind of shows you what they have, yeah, they are going to be addressing that. Hopefully they'll make a little eye icon thingy where you can go and see absolutely everything that is droppable. And like I mentioned, they are going to make them Kingdom exclusive eventually. Not sure how soon they're going to be really getting around to that, but it is a plan of theirs to make them Kingdom exclusive, so that every single drop with an event key will only drop from that Kingdom's event. So if it's like a Pride Lands event this week, it would only ever drop Pride Lands related troops. Oh, come on, you gotta kill him the Dragon Soul. Luckily it revived at least. But the only problem with that now is we don't have our mana to be able to cast our spell. I think I'm going to go for a brown here just because I need to get an Elamagrim going. He already has the burns, so we might be able to get this going. Only 7, but hopefully we'll land something. We do indeed land the extra turn into another extra turn, so it looks like we got everything rolling again. Get that going, right into another Dragon Soul, another Elamagrim, and I believe that is match. We did miss there though, but an Infernus should be able to get some kills. He does not go for his heal for whatever reason, though the follow-up does get it, which is unfortunate because I needed him to keep the purple on the board, so now I'm going to have to clear it. Throw the Infernus there, get yourself a Dragon Soul, and then throw one more hit, and that should be the kill. Since we got that Dragon Soul revive, we should be good to go, as long as he doesn't get another... he's getting a lot of damage on us right now, wow. We're probably losing a lot of points to that, but let's kill that out, and down he goes. So, that could have gone a bit better, but we got to keep all of our troops, and that's one of the main things that is important. Though us taking so much damage probably did lower us down by about 100 points there, which is unfortunate. I think today might actually be 9,100. This normally works out quite a bit better. Also, like I said earlier, saw this coming from a mile away, that the leader would also be using this team. Normally, when so many people from the lower rarity of a guild is using the exact same team, that normally means almost every single person within that guild is using that exact same team, and that is indeed the case. Because if you keep seeing it at lower rarities, that means they're really organized in doing the exact same for all of them. and most likely their leaders are also using that same team. So, case in point, here we are fighting this thing. Oops, I should have made sure he didn't have alignment. Probably could have stopped that, actually. Yeah, this team actually is not going that bad, actually, surprisingly. So yeah, I'll move the red over, get herself a Dragon Soul. It gets a lot of value with that convert. Oh, come on, why so much yellow on the board? I need to make sure he doesn't get that much yellow. But we'll get a Dragon Soul here. If nothing else, at least it's feeding our Infernus a little bit. 1 mana short on the Ellcarjen. That is very unfortunate. Hopefully we do not lose it. Okay, well, we'll throw this down, get ourselves a new board, and hopefully be able to get ourselves looping here. Do we have an extra turn there? Yes, we do, so we'll move that up. I wanted to take it that way so we have slightly better alignment here. We'll throw an Ellcarjen and hopefully get lucky on it. Nope, we did not. This is not looking good at the moment. And he even extra turns that into an Ellcarjen. He could kill us just off of pure damage there. Yep, so we'll move that over. Oh, I see why they're using it now. That is an interesting team, to say the least. And we might finally lose to it, though our way to win at this point would be an Infernus. So since he keeps giving us yellow, let's go actually use that for ourselves and start taking a bunch of yellow and start Infernusing him, because we can get some kills in there and might be able to pull off the win just by doing that. So he'll throw his Explosion down. He keeps getting really lucky with those Cascades. Does he get another cast? No, he does not, but he is going to kill Ellcarjen, and there is not a single thing we can even remotely do about that unless we just go pure luck for the rest of this. There's one thing that could save us. If we can somehow get full mana. Actually, we can right there. Perfect. So we'll do that. And now we just need all of the lucks. Okay? Keep it going. Let me see all of the lucks. There we go. There's all of the lucks. There we go. So luck has saved us. It destroyed us, but it also saved us. So scratch that. We scored like 8,800 or 8,900. But at least we did not lose, which would have cost us even more points. Oh, you know what? That's actually a little bit better. 9,139. That's still horrible, but yeah, okay. Well, that was a really shaky final battle. But yeah, that's an interesting team. What was that again? Gorgolfa, Knight Coronet, Mercy, and Ellcarjen. I would have never thought to make that weird of a team. But, it didn't go that bad. Felt like it got a little bit lucky there, though, at the end, but I still can't believe we lost on our second battle this week. It's like, we're Paragon this week, with the most stats we could ever have, loses the second battle. But so far, we're got them all other than that, so it's not going too bad, I guess. Anyways, that's Guild Forge for today. Let's go do our dungeons real quick. And they will be adding a notification to this eventually, hopefully. Or not hopefully, they will be doing that. They have mentioned it. They just don't want to overflow the game with notifications. But Dungeon is definitely one that they are highly considering, because a lot of people do forget them. I've even forgotten them on a couple days. Pretty sure almost everyone at this point has forgotten one. You might not even know that you've forgotten one, because it's just that easy to forget them. What guild are we up against? I actually do not know. I wasn't paying attention there, though it showed up on probably every single screen. Yeah, I didn't actually see what we were up against today. Let me see. We were up against the Guild Wars. Artista. Oh, I normally don't see them around. I forget if they are normally at the top or not. Apparently so, because they're in number 2 right now. But that would explain why they have such a uniform, organized team then, with everyone being set, because they're pretty much all the way at the top now. Also, I'm surprised how low we are right now. We might be staying in bracket 2 this week. We'll have to see. I'm not sure how many battles we don't have across all of our people. So there might be quite a bit of points that we could potentially have that will close the gap there. But anyways, let's go back to Guild Wars. Not Guild Wars. Where is the Guild Wars? Go back to Dungeon. Get our resources before we forget. And yeah, definitely make sure to be doing your dungeons. Farish Raw should be lasting until around next Wednesday or so. So definitely make sure to craft yourself one before then, if you have the resources to do so by that time. And to the craft one, you would need 10 Celestial Trait Stones, 20,000 souls, and 4,000 diamonds. Of course, 4,000 diamonds being the hardest part of that. Oh, one other thing that they mentioned that I forgot to write down, because they have mentioned it a couple times in the past, but they did reiterate it during the stream. They did mention that they are going to be adding a better rotation to the to how troops come into the game through the Soulforge. So basically, all the mythics within the game would rotate about every 5 weeks or so. It wouldn't run on any predetermined schedule, but the game would identify which ones have ran recently, and we'll make sure to cycle through all of them once before shoving another troop into there. So they will be doing that to make it a little bit less spammy of the exact same troops over and over again. So that means, that's actually pretty good, because that means you'd be able to craft a Farish Raw once every 5 to 6 months. So since you can only get the resources to craft one about every 2 months, that would basically allow you to constantly be able to craft Farish Raws whenever you have the resources. You might have to wait a few weeks, but it would be a lot better than having to wait months upon months of just waiting for pure luck to get it, like it is in during the current system that is implemented. But yeah, they will be fixing that soon. Okay, let's get ourselves some splits, and one more will kill that out. He'll just poke us with really heavy damage, so I do want to go for the bird kill now, since that might not be enough damage. Now they got damaged. It might not be enough damage now they got damaged. Can you surge? We took 3 gems. 4 gems. He doesn't even have Jinx. Took 4 gems at around a 63% surge chance, and not a single one surged. That is... We're getting really bad luck tonight. Okay, we'll go grab that. Got all of our stuff. There we go. Let's see. Is it possible to get 2,500 diamonds before next Wednesday? No. The biggest gap you could really close, I believe, is around 300-ish? 300, 400? That's about the biggest gap you'd be able to close between now and next Wednesday. So if you're not like 3,500 plus diamonds at this exact moment in time, you likely will not be able to craft a Farish Raw on this rotation. But it's not like it's never... Excuse me. It's not like it's never going to show up again. It's just, it's completely random when it shows up. So who knows? It could be a week. It could literally come in 3 weeks in a row. Could be another 2 months. But they will be addressing that and fixing that. I believe next patch, they didn't specifically mention, but next patch is coming mid-February, sometime around there, assuming all goes well. Let's see. You've been doing dungeons for 2 months and just barely had enough to craft Raw. Yeah, that can happen, because if you don't buy the 50 gem things, and if you're not getting a bunch from the guild, I think you only get like a few hundred a week or something. I forget what the exact numbers is on all that. We went over it in the past. Forget what it is at this current moment in time. But yeah, if you play 100% free to play, you still get the guild ones, and you still get the normal ones that you get just from doing them. The only thing that you might not do, well, obviously you wouldn't be doing the $5 purchase, and you might not be doing the 50 gem thing, though I do highly advise always buying this on Sundays. The reason being is you get 80 diamonds for 50 gems, and you also get 2 gem keys. So basically, if you just count those 2 resources on a Sunday, you're getting basically 80 diamonds for only 30 gems, which is really good just in itself, but you're also getting 1 celestial trait stone and a few other resources. I think 1,000 shards and something else and 500 souls, I forget exactly. But it's the best day to do it is on Sundays. So if you're ever going to do that, if you don't have the gems to be able to do this every single day like we do, make sure to at least do it on Sundays, because that's when you get the best value out of it. Also, Sunday's particularly easy with how it's currently set up, because it has a bunch of troops that use random effects, and all of them except the Nobin brother is pretty weak. So you don't normally need to worry about it. Yeah, also, don't forget to convert your shards. Anyone who's pretty close to crafting a... oops, that's not where you go. Anyone who's close to crafting a Farish Raw, but you don't have it all the way, make sure you craft all of your shards into diamonds. That's the only thing you would ever need to craft them into. Don't even bother with these other resources. Just put them into diamonds constantly. That's what I've done for all mine, and it's the best value that you can do out of them. But yeah, just always do that, and you'll just naturally get yourself some diamonds. But yeah, do double check, because some people do forget to do that. So you could have like tens of thousands of shards just laying there that you can convert into some diamonds if you are a little short of 4,000 to be able to craft that. Let's see. But anyways, guys, I am going to be heading off for the night, because we are going quite a bit later than what we normally do, due to the Q&A going later. But yeah, anyways, if there's any other last-minute questions, please leave it right now. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow morning for the new Mythic. New Mythic will be available in... time. How does it work? 3.5 hours, right? Yes, 3.5 hours from now. The new Mythic will be available. Actually, 3 hours and 37 minutes to be exact. The new Mythic will be available. So, yes, definitely make sure to restart your game once that happens if you're around at that time, and go get yourself the new Mythic, or at least attempt for it. It will be in Glory, Gem, Guild, and VIP chests. I'm likely going to open partially some of my gem chests, and if we don't get it from there, we'll probably open 50 to 100 VIP chests until we get a copy of it. It does seem like a really nice troop to use, especially if it still has the Blue Storm, Perpetual Blue Storm on its final trait. That will be really good blue Guild War troop. Actually, has blue Guild War occurred this week? If it hasn't, oh, good. This Sunday, we will be running a pure blue team with the new Mythic. So we'll see exactly how that pans out. Hopefully good. That'll be a fail if it actually doesn't work out that well, but I assume it will work pretty decently. Similar to how an Umber Wolf works really decently on a purple day. So I assume she wouldn't be much different than that. But anyways, guys, I'll be heading out for tonight. See you all later. We will be doing our normal stream tomorrow, as we always do, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is basically 12 hours from now. We'll be doing and covering all of that. It might be slightly delayed because, of course, we'll be doing the covering and making sure we get the Mythic videos out, the key opening, and the teams video for it before we get into the stream. But anyways, guys, I will see you all later. Hope you all have a wonderful night, wonderful holiday, and stay safe out there. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow going over everything with the new Frozen Mythic from Glacial Peaks. Have a good night, everyone. Goodbye.